So we've got the first round of CSA T20 Challenge fixtures have been completed. I'm calling it the round one because there's a rest day between each number of fixtures. So I think it's two fixtures um, for each team, and then there's a rest day in between. So that's where we're sitting at the moment with two games. Every single team has played two games. And we're going to be chatting about this first round. What was the pitches like, or the pitch like? What was the conditions like? What was the quality of cricket? Where could some teams maybe improve? We're going to chat about all of that on today's show. So before we get started, before we get going, smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. You need to click that notification bell as well for all future videos too. So go ahead and do that right away. Then also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is in the description for that too. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Maiden. We're trying to get my co-host Aditya on. He's struggling with his camera and his connectivity. I don't know why. It's the first time this has happened on StreamYard for him. So he's trying to make it work. He can hear everything, but we can't see him on our side. So it's unfortunate that it's not working. But we've got Werner as well with me as well here. So we're going to be chatting about this. Werner's been keeping up to date with the fixtures as well and with the games as well as me. And we both have this affinity for youngsters as well. So that's why it's a good opportunity for us to chat and have a long chat about it. We're still trying to get Aditya on. For some reason, things are not working. Um, I think Aditya, if you obviously he's not at the back end anymore, so he can't hear me. But I hope he gets sorted out because we've got a big interview tomorrow morning too, which I want you guys to keep an eye out for. Big interview. It's the first time on our channel that we've interviewed this person, so very excited. Hint is that he's in the Proteas setup currently, and it's the first time we had an opportunity to have a one-on-one interview on our daily shows, etc. I've interviewed him before at a MSL. I think that's about enough hints. People are going to go furiously to go look at the exclusive interviews now in the MSL. I don't think people have the time for that. But from that perspective, I think we're excited to talk to him. And you'll see who we will be chatting to tomorrow. So we will release that as well as a special guest on a Q&A session tomorrow evening for the Daily Show. So that will be a separate interview. This one felt like spoiling you guys for change. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get into today's topic. I'm rambling a little bit. Let's start with the log because something very, very weird has happened. I think that Northwest and Western Province have torn up the scripts completely from previous tournaments, from previous occasions, and from the 4-day competition. Definitely, because in this T20 challenge currently, Northwest without no coach is sitting at the top with a bonus point and two won. Two very good games that they played of cricket, dominating games. Then we've got Six Gun Grill Western Province in the second position. Now they were on the top, but that bonus point win by Northwest obviously got them one bonus point ahead of Western Province. So Western Province are second. Then the Hollywood Bets Dolphins, even though they lost today, they still remain third. And the opponents who beat them today, the Lions, are second, fourth on the log with two wins. I mean, one win and one loss. And then we've got the multiplied Titans sitting over there. We thought would have been doing a lot better than they are currently, although it is only one win, one loss. We thought that they might have been, or I thought at least, they might have been one of the teams that are sitting right at the top but there's still obviously a long competition to go. And right at the bottom of that log um, is the GBets Rocks and the Knights, both 2 losses. But I think that the Rocks are maybe slightly ahead of the Knights currently with regards to their team maybe turning things around. The Knights aren't looking very good. Luckily, there are more games, and this is not the end. So we're going to be very excited to see what takes place over here. Werner, let's start with you. Before I start sniping all the things that you want to say, I'm going to give you the first chance to talk. Who are some of which games were the most exciting for you when it comes to this tournament so far?
I appreciate that, Khalid. I think that the Lions Northwest Dragons game was kind of exciting. That was pretty close, and I was surprised that the Northwest managed to beat them in the end. And I've been very surprised how well they have done in this tournament so far, winning both games. I think the bowlers have really stepped up. I've enjoyed the likes of Johannes Teseku, who has bowled very well. He's left orthodox. He's also been used at the death where he has done well. I've been very impressed with Duan Janssen. His all-round performances. He got him up to a good total in that first match, and then he also bowled very well at the beginning and at the back end, getting in some good Yorkers. He could have gotten a couple more wickets today. He had a drop catch, and there was an LBW appeal that was probably out as well. So he did very well. Wesley Marshall going all out as he usually does. So I've been quite impressed with the Northwest Dragons. Actually, they've been almost punching above their weight. They don't have the strongest team or the strongest batting lineup, but they've done very well to win both games. You can see they're playing as a team despite not having their coach and their assistant coach stepping up to fulfill that role at the moment. So that's been good. I think it was a Titans game that was also quite close where they won by 3 runs. They were quite lucky to scrape that one through. So a couple of close games. Today's games weren't as close. The first game, obviously not. The Knights, yeah, it's interesting to see them struggling so much after winning last year. I think the fact that Riley Rousseau is not there is making a huge difference to how they are batting. He carried the whole team last season, so with him being at the Pakistan Super League, they're really lagging behind. And yeah, there's been a bunch of good performances. Richard Levy, he's been going all guns blazing both games. He's looked a class apart, really smashing the ball hard and far like we know he can. So good to see him back here, giving the bowlers some trouble and helping the Cobras. I thought George Linder has been good as well. It's good to see them using him a little bit up the order with the bat. He's been doing a good role there. Donovan Ferrara, obviously, you know that I'm a fan of him. He's been doing very well. He hasn't been dismissed yet, actually, and he's been doing the work that the Titans need of him, finishing the games. Tristan Stubbs, another guy with a lot of potential that I really enjoy watching. He's been batting brilliantly, coming in with a lot of intent. I think he's been striking at about 200. So it's been great to see him, especially against the spinners. I've enjoyed his use of the feet, his sweep shots, playing all around the ground. So he has a lot of potential. I think the 3 guys that I have most looked forward to watch in this series has been Donovan Ferrara, Tristan Stubbs, and David Brevis, who I'm pretty sure we'll get to see on Saturday when the Titans play again. And there's quite a lot of performances a lot of players that have performed quite well. Lesiba Ngwepe, I thought his 6 of 20 balls was also crucial for the Warriors in that game against the Cobras, even though they did end up losing. He with Stubbs managed to carry their total up to a big-ish total after Libba had quite a good game, but he really slowed down as well, kind of similar to how Quinton de Kock's innings went yesterday. They both made it around 70, but not at a very high strike rate, 110, 120, very unlike how they would usually play. So it's important when you do have somebody like that and now bash through the whole innings, then you need to have those guys coming in the middle order who can really lift the total, as Donovan Ferrara did for the Titans and Tristan Stubbs did for the Warriors. And then
Can we just hang on? Can we just hang on to that point first? I just want to talk
yeah,
about
sure.
Yeah, just want to talk about that Vian Libber, Quinton de Kock vibe. Currently, when we're looking at the conditions of a year, it's quite tricky to look at the conditions and see the way things have been going. I think South African wickets are not the same anymore. And that's why we're not seeing these high totals scored like 190 people are looking for. I'm hoping that some teams might be able to get to that 190. I'm hoping that the batting gets better and better and it doesn't happen like the way the Knights have digressed. I hope that the rest of the teams can now push on, maybe score more than 160, 170, 180, 190, and try to push for that 190 mark because it will create a massive spectacle if teams can reach that and the pitches level out. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of spin in the wickets so far. Wickets are the medium pacers are already doing well here, not the fast bowlers. The quick bowlers are actually going to the boundary. Guys like Darren de Pavilion and the quick bowlers, the full on 140s. It's the slower delivery guys, the guys that are getting the slower bounces, the wide Yorkers, etc. In those are the ones that are doing exceptionally well. But to express that to you and explain that to everybody over here. That's why some people have been opening up with spin. Some people have opened up with middle order or with medium paces. So things have been a little bit different in this tournament to what we normally see. But that also shows Vian Libber in a different light here as an opening batter, which is something that I'm not necessarily sure he's that used to. I know he's normally a number three, number four. He is normally a top order batter. That's how I know him. I was hoping though to see if this was, I would like to actually talk to him and ask him whether moving up the order was a decision only that he made with the coach that he agreed with, of course. I'm pretty sure he will probably say yes. He probably agreed to this and it was his idea. But whether the thinking behind it has anything to do with him maybe looking at that positions for the national side. Because for me personally, with Vian, I've always wanted to see him in a number six finisher type role, and adding value with the ball as well as an all rounder. But competing with George Linder for a spot. But when I'm watching him bat here, he doesn't bat like a tail end, or not a tail end, but like an all rounder would at the end, a slugger type of player. He's matured a lot in his technique and the way he's performed and the way he's playing. So he's adapted well to this wicket, and I'm very impressed with the two half centuries that he scored. Unfortunately, it would have been maybe better if he could have gotten the guys over the line in the second game that they played, right? But
First
unfortunately,
game. Yeah.
was it the first game
Was
that they played?
no, the
No, it was
second
the
game. You're
second
right.
game,
Sorry.
second game against
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
Province. So unfortunately, yeah, that didn't happen. But I'm sure there's so many games happening. People will progress; they'll get stronger, I think, and the, we'll see with the Titans. I think it makes it easier for the Titans now to make a change, seeing that to bring Deva Brevis in. I'm talking about if they were 2 out of 2, like the Western Province and like Northwest, it might have been a little bit more trickier to see who they needed to drop, maybe, or how they were going to do it, because all in all, which person deserves an opportunity more if they all failed, for example? You know what I mean? If your top order is not necessarily doing that well and you're going to replace a person in the top order, how do you monitor that to know who you must pick, who you must drop, and who you mustn't? And it's going to be a tough decision for them to do it, to move things around to fit Yeovil into that team. But yeah, I just wanted to start on that point and let's talk about Vian Libber a little bit and let's give him praise because he's he's been good so far in the first two games. 125 runs, highest score of 69 not out, an average of 125. A strike rate though of 120, which Werner was talking about, which is uncharacteristic for someone like him. Um, and then you've got 250s to his name. And then you've got on that list as well Richard Levy, come back from after a while. He hasn't really played. High score of 67 in the opening game, and then that massive 40, quick 40 that he scored against the Warriors, which basically set up the win for them. He's been excellent for added very important experience into that top order for Western Province. But yeah, let's continue. Werner, I know you've mentioned some other youngsters like Stubbs I've been very interested into, and Donovan Ferreira. You obviously know myself and Werner interviewed Donovan, and we got some excellent interview insights from him. So go ahead and watch that if you want to know more about him. But Werner, continue. You were on a good trail, and I was liking it. I might just stop you in between if I want to just add a few points to what you are saying.
Yeah, yeah, I was speaking quite quickly. I was rambling it off. But yeah, Levy has been impressive. I think we're talking about fairly low totals, but it has been quite the norm for St George's to be a little bit of a lower scoring ground because of the pitch not being as quick as it is up in the Eiffel or even down at Newlands. So it does make sense. But I think the way that the Cobras chased that total of the Warriors and the way the Northwich with Dragons attacked this morning show that a higher score is possible if you get off
And the
to a very
Lions
good
today.
start. Yeah, and the Lions,
Yeah.
but they kept on losing wickets. So
Yeah.
it's a fine balance between the two in terms of attacking the power play, making sure you get the most out of it, but also not losing 3 or 4 wickets early on. So the Lions still managed to get up to a good total, but that was mainly thanks to Magala, who had an excellent
Mm.
all-round game,
Yeah.
both with the bat and ball. You saw. I was wondering because I was looking at it and I'm thinking they don't have a man of the match anymore, but they do have a batter of the match and they have a bowler of the match. Will Magala get both, or will they give Dadswell the batter? But they did end up giving Magala both, which I think was rightly deserved because he was the one that got them up to that total in the end, and he was the one who defended it at the end with some great Yorkers. I was talking about that earlier on Twitter, and so
Mm.
that I'd love to see Des Magala stepping up to the
Yeah.
Proteas.
It's,
I
it's the
want
one
him
that
to
it's the one that I
get.
thought we would get.
Yeah, this is what we expect from him because this is what he do day in and day out in domestic cricket. He comes in, he bowls fast, he rushes the bowler after the batters with short balls that rushes onto him with that heavy ball. He comes at the back end, he bowls those quick Yorkers that sometimes he gets some in swinging or tails them in with his slinging action. And that's what we'd like to see from him at the Proteas as well. And I think he does have that ability. He just needs to back himself. And I'm sure you'll be able to step up. That's because
Yeah.
today was magnificent. It's exactly what we want from him.
Yeah,
And
those
we,
Yorkers specifically, those Yorkers
yeah,
that he's bowling. Those, I know those wide deliveries. Maybe the pressure is not as much. Obviously, we've been seeing Mangala do this for a long time. I've been seeing Mangala do this a long time in domestic cricket, even in the MSL. It's a valid thing to stop and pause and talk about because Sanda's shown now with the bat. Because I always used to call him an all rounder, and people used to look at me funny and say, "What are you doing? He's a bowler." But I'm like, I've watched him domestically. I've seen how he can bat too. He can hit the ball. Put it if it's in that. You see the difference there between domestic and international is clear to see because Magala will be here, stand and deliver and smack that ball for six any day if you miss your zone. But international cricket, the bowlers don't miss those zones very often unless they have a brain. Like for example, if you're playing the Trent Bolt, the chances of you getting a bad ball in an over in an intense situation like that is very very seldom. So you need to know your lines properly. You need to know where your stumps are. You need to be able to have your instincts ready for you to do it against the best of the best. So yeah, it's difficult to compare the intensity when it comes to finishing here domestically to play like that and to do it internationally. But Magala does definitely need praise and for the way he's performed in this particular tournament so far, but also in the knockout. I know you mentioned earlier on about the previous tournament. Riley so obviously playing it. Interesting fact about it is that it's weird to me that Riley plays the knockout and not doesn't get to play this unfortunately because of the important one is this one. I think everybody was there to be able to watch him for national. If you want him in the national side, this would have been the perfect platform to do it because the knockout is almost because it's between Division A and Division B teams or Division One and Division Two teams. Uh, it's not the same intensity as the CSA T20 challenge.
no, but he was never because the previous T20 knockout he was available because there was no other series
Yeah.
going on. But now that the Pakistan Super League is going on,
Yeah.
he was never going to let that go because he's won tournaments for his team for the Molten team in the Pakistan Super League. So he was never going to miss out on a
Yeah.
big
Of course.
payday there. So it was always going to be like that. I think that the good thing, but not for the Knights, right? Because the Knights haven't been doing well. But at least we get to see Reynolds van Tonder, even though he hasn't started well, because he hasn't been playing many T20 matches because they needed to get their balance right. And obviously he started poorly. You can see he's not in his best form right now, but hopefully he can start getting it again, because we know how good he is, and I believe he is good enough for this format as well. I remember that one match where he made like a 70 out of 40 balls or something like that, and he was brilliant. So I know he has the ability. So hopefully he starts using some form again.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be battles of the all-rounders in this particular tournament. That's actually a very interesting one, because with everybody sitting around there and Victor Mpitsang chilling over there and Graham Smith also chilling over there, a lot of the all-rounders probably, seeing that there's been a lot of top order collapses throughout this tournament so far. Not a lot of guys have batted right all the way through, apart from Libber and some. I can't remember some other guys that have done it too, but from Libber's perspective, he's batted right through. But Keegan Peterson also did it to an extent in the previous
Quinny.
Dolphins game, and Quinny has done it. So, like, from that perspective, we're going to see a couple of maybe collapses through this tournament, and maybe it's going to be a situation where the all-rounders need to step up. So that's where we put the emphasis on someone like Andile Peklikwayo. And we're like, guy, this is your chance to really put your foot in the ground and say, I'm the best all-rounder in this country. Because his place is not safe, I feel, in the national side, especially with and I'm not saying this is the reason why, but especially with more and more Black African and players of color, all-rounders coming through the system over here. So it's going to put a lot of pressure on Andile Peklikwayo from that perspective. And not only that, all-rounders in general. We've got Ruanda Swat showing what he's capable of. You've got Jason Smith showing what he's capable of. Tristan Stubbs, you can count as an all-rounder. You've got Delano Potgieter, which we're hoping will get an opportunity to prove himself. We've got Dwan Jansen, Marco's brother, showing what he's capable of too, bat and ball. You've got Ayak Amani, who played an excellent role with the ball again, even though his batting's improved a lot. There's so many guys that we can talk about over here, and that are showing what they're capable of. And it's going to put a lot of pressure, because that's a position that a lot of people think is a position for the taking. It's something that we're looking for. Dwayne Pretorius also now. There's pressure on him too. Although he did perform well today, there's pressure on him too. And that's why you can see Andile's batting up the order, because they want to see what he can do with the bat. Because there are guys like Magala who are coming at the back end, and they're scoring massive runs, etc., and doing the job. So this is a tournament for the all-rounders. We could find out probably our next international all-rounder, don't you think, Werner?
Very possible, yeah. We just need the all-rounders to really step up with the bat, because what they have been doing is bowling pretty well. We've seen those medium paces in Ruana Swart and Jason Smith today on this type of slower pitch are going to be very effective when you bowl wicket to wicket. But they still need to step up with the bat. We haven't really seen a lot with the bat from the all-rounders so far. And that's really what we're waiting for right now, because we have plenty of bowlers and we have some bowling all-rounders, and Pretorius has done that job. What we really need now is some batting all-rounders, and that's what we've been looking out for. So hopefully we can see that as the tournament progresses. Talking about Pretorius, I wonder how he's feeling. He's dropped a couple of sitters in this tournament so far, and I think the tournament as a whole, and I know the last tournament as well, there's so many drop catches. It's been quite disappointing, to be honest. I think the last tournament was over 60, and now it's at 20 already. I don't know what's going on. Why
like
so
the Dolphins? The Dolphins today, I think they lost it they were very sloppy throughout the game today. Very sloppy.
Yeah,
and I think
Keegan Peterson was fielding brilliantly, but the rest, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, so they were very, very sloppy today. As well as Northwest were on top of their game compared to who did they play against?
The Lions.
When they beat the Lions. So and today they looked a lot better than the Knights. So the Knights looked again sloppy. There's so many games, Werner. We need to forgive ourselves.
It was the Knights today,
yeah. So the Knights looked terrible in the field, and I think that's where you can actually win games. And Bjorn Fortuin, oh my God, like I call him a clutch player. When the moment is big, he steps up. Like this tournament, I feel is a tournament he can shine in, because a lot of the senior guys are maybe not there, so the team is not maybe the same as it was previously. Not all the big guys are available. Bjorn is becoming almost like a senior guy in this team, and he showed with the bat today, showed with the ball. I know he backs his batting. Myself and him have chatted a long time about his batting, and he does back himself. So it's good to see that he's playing, scoring with the bat. Look here, I just wanted to mention about the bowling, and it's very interesting that Werner said that our bowling's fine. We got very good bowlers, so it makes it look really good to us and to the public and to the selectors when there are a lot of all rounders taking big wickets and dominating this tournament. So you've got, for example, Huddersfield Yoon with 4 wickets. You've got Ruanda Swat with 4 wickets. You've got Jason Smith with 3, obviously taking those 3 today. So it's all rounders over here that we are seeing that are taking big wickets over here, that putting up their hands like we were speaking about. But generally speaking, with regards to the bowling, it's been good quality bowling on difficult pitches to be, because you need to be accurate over here and consistent. And it's been pretty decent from the bowlers all around. I do feel there have been some guys that stood out and that have stepped up, like Deseko. I think he's really stepped up for his team. Someone, we're always going to hear about maybe guys that went under the radar that maybe weren't mentioned before the tournament started. But you would expect a 31-year-old to perform this way if he's had experience in the leagues.
Yeah, but the young leg spinner that almost made it under 19 squad for the World Cup, Caleb Seleka. He's been quite good as well.
Seleka's been good, yes.
Yeah, I've enjoyed his bowling as well. He was very good in the first game, especially. So I think there's a lot of talent there.
And Cody Yusuf has impressed me recently, even from 4-day, because his name came out of nowhere almost within the Lions setup. And I saw him in the 4-day competition, and now here in the T20 showing his versatility. It's really cool to see that there are new guys also putting up their hands.
Yeah, and he has some good pace. You can see. It's unfortunate we can't see what the speeds are. It has been frustrating to me that we don't have a speed gun for all. Like it's one tournament. You don't even have to move the stuff around. Just get it there and keep it there for the whole tournament. But okay, whatever it might be. But because I could see that Gerald Coetzee was really running in hard today and bowling quite fast, and the Pavilion. But again, you did mention it earlier that on this type of pitch, those are usually the bowlers that travel the furthest, because the pitch is slow, but if you bowl quickly, then it comes on nicely to the bat. Just the type of pace the batsers want.
And it's a short boundary in St. George's Park. So, like, if you miss your Yorkers, it's in the block hole, then it's going to smack you straight down the ground over the short boundary. So, it's going to be very, very difficult for the bowlers, for the quicks, like the guys that bowl really quick, because it's going to test their versatility. So, when you're a medium pace or a slower bowler, it's a lot easier for you because you don't have to change too much. You can keep kind of your regular pace in this bowling, your rhythms, and then change a couple of things. Whereas you have to change quite a lot if you naturally bowl 145, and all they have to do is just touch the ball and it can go race away to the boundary. So any sort of bat that you put on it is going to travel. So they will adapt. I'm sure of it. There's a long tournament. It's still a lot of games left. So it's going to be interesting to see how things end up and how things progress as players have that rest day and try to recuperate and fix things around. So tomorrow on the show, we'll have Wesley Marshall with us on the Q&A show. So you guys can come ahead and ask Wesley some questions. He'll join us on our Q&A show. So I just thought it would be interesting to talk to him. He's a big part of that Northwest, the heart of that Northwest team. I'm sure of it because I know that he is that type of player in person. He's quite influential with regards to mindset and mentality. So I would like to get a chat with him and see how things are going at Northwest. Amongst everything that has happened recently, there's been a lot that's going down there that we want to find out about as well. Werner, let's get your final thoughts.
Yeah, just on that point about them needing to get their Yorkers in, there's been a few who have been able to do that, and that's thing we're definitely still lacking in the Protea setup. Just managing to hit Yorkers consistently. I think of guys like Duan Janssen has been able to do it quite consistently in this tournament so far. Fresco Adams, he's been pretty good as well. Magala today. So I think that's going to be a very important tool going forward, because it's either that or you're going to have to bowl very good slow balls wide out, because anything in between is going to travel to that short boundary. So it's good to see the skills of the bowlers, but I'd really like to see some big scores being posted as well. I'd like to see some a batter really taking it to the bowlers. Maybe even somebody getting 100 in this tournament would be a good change for how it has gone so far.
Hmm. Definitely. It's really going to test, and it's maybe a good thing for South African cricket because it's really going to test our players. And they're learning how to play in different conditions now and to try and dominate. So it's going to be very interesting to see. They're getting the guys that are going to the IPL also getting proper practice as well for maybe
I
certain things that we're going to.
You never know. Duan Janssen might just pick up a deal because obviously he was with Marku as a net bowler at the Mumbai Indians, and the way he has contributed in the first game with the bat and ball, and today with the ball, he might just sneak in a deal. It's possible.
Mhm. Awesome. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Also, go look at all the raps of the day on cricketfanaticsmag.com. Ongama has been writing all of them. So go ahead and go look at those ones. He's been at the ground. He's been covering the tournament. He's been doing a very good job over there. So keep an eye out on cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates on that. But also subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to do so. Click that notification bell for all future videos too. If that's obviously if you're new, if you aren't new, smash the like button, comment, and share. Also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight into your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen and in the description. And also, you can join our Patreon if you want to help us continue doing what we are doing over here for an extended period of time. Joining our Patreon will help us keep the lights on and keep everything going. So please go ahead and support us over there. You'll also get a message to our WhatsApp group, our private WhatsApp group that's part of the patronage if you join our Patreon's account. So, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show. As I said, where Marshall will be coming on if on the fan Q&A tomorrow evening. We'll also bring you an exclusive interview sometime tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure what time it will be. It will be a preview. I can't do it live because of time zones, etc. So I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it preview, guys. I can't get the person on the live show because the live show is at an awkward time. So you keep an eye out for that. And later this evening, we have a comeback from our ladies. The offside maidens are back, and they'll be talking about the Proteas women, particularly about the squad and about those players. And they'll probably touch up on a couple of other cricket-related topics too. But it will mostly also be a catch-up session for the girls who haven't been in action on the offside maiden show in quite some time. So they're making their comeback tonight, hoping that they can entertain you guys with some excellent insight. And they're all individually funny and different personalities that they have. So go ahead and obviously tune into that show. That will be in the next half an hour. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Thanks a lot, Werner, for coming on and saving the day once again. We'll see you guys again tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, everyone.